Hi, my name is Bryce Plez, and I just got done watching a total piece of garbage. Let me tell you what I think about it. Don't kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you. I want you to tell your friends to watch this movie.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Hello YouTube land, this is Jesse Swift and I'm here with my buddy Bryce Plez. Today we will be reviewing our first movie in the road to Batman v Superman, and that is the Tim Burton '89 Batman film. An absolute classic for me. Bryce, on the other hand, has never seen the film.
No, this is my first time, Jesse.
Until this point. I had to get him on the bandwagon because he was falling behind. I personally, Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman up until this point, so I thought it was really important that he could at least have an opinion on the matter instead of just going, Bale! But anyways, I just want to kind of take this moment to get some of your general thoughts on, I mean, it is a dated movie, it's 89, but just some of the costume, Michael Keaton's way of playing the role, yeah, absolutely. So.
Yeah, I mean, it may be dated, but for its time, it was a very good film. I really liked that.
Point for me.
Yeah, I really liked, surprisingly, like, when I was watching it, it was all set up very well. Like, I really liked how it started out. I really liked how, like, you saw...
I'm Batman.
Yeah. You saw these
Spoilers.
people... You saw these people getting, my family getting mugged, and I honestly thought, because I know the origin story, I thought it was, Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yeah, they kind of threw you for a loop for anybody that knows the origin. You're like, oh, they're going to start out the origin. Nope, he's already Batman.
Exactly.
He's been Batman.
and I was watching it with you, so I was like, dude, I already seen, this is the same origin story. And then I was like, wait, what? Nope. And then, I loved how that all started out, and then, seeing him in that suit, I was like, that's a pretty good suit for the time. Like, it was...
Except for where it turns.
Yeah, you can't... The neck... And then also I noticed there was, like... You could see it didn't fit his face very well.
It was not.
So, I mean, but for the first movie, I mean, I can't say...
They probably had to fit the stuntman and Michael Keaton
exactly,
at the same time.
Yeah, and they probably didn't have multiple suits. They're like, too much budget. So, but honestly, I really liked how it started out. It was like, it's not how I expected, because the other ones I've seen, it starts out,
And there wasn't really internet in '89 for the most part. There was just, there's some magazine stuff. So it did get out through the news and magazines that Michael Keaton was going to be playing Batman. And much like when Heath Ledger was cast or Ben Affleck was cast, there was an outrage when Michael Keaton was cast because he was known as a comedian. He had done Mr. Mom. He had done Beetlejuice, which was also a Tim Burton film. Also weird that this is a Tim Burton film. Definitely not The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Do you think he might have gotten this role because of his...
Absolutely. Yep, okay. I think Beetlejuice got him this role. I think Tim Burton really enjoyed his dark sense of humor and being able to... I mean, you said you've never seen Beetlejuice, right?
No, another one I need to check out.
Yeah,
it's
it's very different. It's very different than Batman, but it is kind of dark, and it has a dark sense of humor, and I feel like there's some of that in this movie. So, yeah. I think that was his first choice. Yeah. Can we talk about one of the first... Hopefully I'm not skipping around too much a little bit, but it doesn't take very long for you to see the Batmobile.
Okay. I was waiting for this because you were telling me before I even started watching this movie that it was one of your favorites, and I was like, okay, I've only really seen the one from the Dark Knight trilogy, and I think that one looks cool, but it's really tanky. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It doesn't
feel like a superhero mobile.
No,
it's like a tank.
Yeah, exactly. And it just honestly, like, I would think that was something that Bane would drive, because it's just he's a tank, he looks like something he would literally drive. But when I saw this one, I was like, that's a Batmobile. I literally said it to you. I was like, that is a Batmobile. It was perfect, dude. I literally...
the turrets that pop up out of the front, and then you got the giant, like, turbine
in the front.
In the back, and then...
And they also had that thing in the front. That's what I was... When you said turbine engine, that thing that stuck at the front, was that part of...
Oh, right. Yeah, it's kind of like a turbine engine, and then it had, like, the exhaust port thing in the back. And then, there's also the armor. I mean, dated CGI, sure, but that's pretty cool. They just clicks a button, it's like ching, 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 ching,
That's
ching.
what I'm saying. I gotta give him credit for where credit's due. I mean, I know it was dated for when I saw it, but I still was impressed. I gotta say, I was impressed for the time of this movie coming out, and for them to put all that effort into it. I was very impressed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then how many gadgets did we see the Tumbler? Not to do a lot of cross comparison, but that's the thing. That's why I defend this movie so hard, is to me this was Batman. Like, you describe what Batman is to me. He's dark. He sometimes has an off sense of humor a little bit. Gadgets, man. He's the world's greatest detective. And we saw him detective-ing in the Batcave.
It's crazy because you never see, like I said, I only have to base off of what I'm saying right now. I only have the Dark Knight trilogy to base all my, thoughts off of. And I can tell you right now, it felt like a Batman. Him using those gadgets, you know, you never see that. Well, you saw a couple, you know, here and there in the Dark Knight trilogy, but I just like doing that. That's Batman, man. He has all these cool gadgets, and you just don't know what he's gonna do next, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah,
you know?
he was hanging people off of balconies.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
When everyone was like kind of cornering him, he's just smoke grenade, and then zipped off.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
I like that part though, because it was funny. Because when he did that, I still saw him going up. I know it was funny. I laughed. I was like, I can still see you, man.
Didn't know if that was intentional.
No, it's funny though.
But yeah, and then moving on, we get something that we haven't gotten cinematically other than this movie, which was an origin to the Joker.
True, very true. Yeah.
Played by Jack Nicholson, of course, brilliantly played by Jack Nicholson. I know there's a lot of Heath Ledger fans out there. I'm included in that, but I just say don't leave Jack Nicholson behind, because his performance was very unique, and I think holds up in its own right.
You know what? I would never compare them. If someone's like, who's better, I couldn't really tell you. I'm not gonna. They're better in both their reasons. Like for
neither of them would have worked in the other movie.
Exactly. Very true. That's exactly what I was
If you
gonna
threw
say.
Jack Nicholson in The Dark Knight, would not have worked. If you had Heath Ledger's taking himself too seriously in the '89 film, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been really weird. And I always just say, when people ask me a question all the time, I was like, there's the Burton Joker and there's the Nolan Joker. I can say, though, I do lean a little bit more towards Jack Nicholson because of my experience with the cartoons and the comics.
Okay.
He kind of felt like that Joker to me, although I think Heath Ledger was brilliant. Like, I thought he portrayed him in his way very, very well.
It fit that movie.
Yep.
For how dark the Dark Knight trilogy is, it fit that. Like that's why you're saying
couldn't have a cartoon
no,
Joker.
Exactly, not definitely not. It would have never worked. So he did. He played that part very well. But I must say, dude, Joker scared me.
Yeah,
he scared
especially
me,
when he
man.
puts like the additional makeup on to make it look like he has regular skin.
That dude.
So his smile doesn't look like a smile; it's just like this deformed, like.
You know, Heath Ledger. He's dark. He's a little like mysterious, but I don't know. But he's not like scary. Like I literally looked at him when when I saw him for the first time as Joker after he fell in the acid or the chemicals.
Coming out of the shadows,
dude. It freaked me out. I was like, dude, that's a scary Joker, and I've never seen anything like that.
And he was straight up just shooting people. He was a scarred criminal gangster, you know.
Dude, like I said, it creeped me out, and I was like, and I must say, they did a really good job with his makeup.
Oh
like,
yeah.
What they did to his face.
And I like how they had where he would have the flesh-colored makeup and be like wiping it off,
and then you'd see
you see like a stream of white, and it's just like his facade peeling off of him to reveal like the insanity behind it. That's kind of what has happened to the Joker has always been. Is it's that acid was kind of just peeling back to who he is on the inside. You know, an insane.
I didn't think about that way.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does. No, you're
poetic.
right.
It's,
yeah, it really is.
Him being burned revealed
his true colors.
Yeah, exactly. Perfectly put.
Yeah.
We have, as with every movie, comic book movie in this timeline, a love interest, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Extremely forgettable. I don't know the actress's name, but
Vicky
Vale.
V.
Vicky Vale was the character, and she's just kind of pointless. She plays kind of that Lois Lane damsel in distress role. But I think there's a really good scene with her and the Joker in that art museum.
Oh yeah, where
he shows her his disfigured like girl that he used to have, like what he did to her face, and he's messing with her, terrifying her, and then he's like dancing around to Prince in the art museum.
No, that was cool, and that was the only part I actually remember with her. Like I'm trying to think about it. Like her part wasn't very memorable, except for that
screaming,
part.
just running, screaming.
Exactly, yeah. But that art museum scene was definitely memorable, and I liked that. That was cool how he came in there. I love the guy just holding the boombox, ready for to play that music. But, no, that was awesome.
And that again would only work in a Tim Burton movie.
Exactly.
Like that would not have worked in the Dark Knight whatsoever. And the henchmen for this whole earlier franchise are all very themed.
Yeah.
You kind of notice that, and like Joker, except for right in the beginning of Dark Knight, didn't really have a group. Another scene that I thought was really good. It was almost too Michael Keaton-y, but it was when the Joker kind of broke into where they were, and Michael Keaton's trying to get ready to tell Vicky Vale, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Batman. He's talking himself up, which I thought was kind of funny. He's like, I'm Batman. But the Joker comes in, and Michael Keaton's playing very suave, and he's just kind of trying to, deal with the Joker naturally. And you don't really see right away, but he takes like a silver plate from like over by the fireplace and sticks it in his chest. So Joker shoots him, and you're like, oh, what? Bruce just got shot. And they show later it's got like the dented metal piece. And
no, that was really clever.
Bruce is thinking on his feet. because he's a genius and a detective.
Exactly. Very true. Christian Bale would have just curled up in the ball.
Batman 89.
Like,
And then I think from that point we just kind of see the elevation of Joker's insanity. He starts putting the chemical that like scarred his face up and stuff into perfume and all the skincare and stuff like that. And what I thought was funny that I never noticed as a kid is it showed all the news reporters and stuff that have not been using any skin or hair care products, and they look like hell.
Yeah, they do.
I thought that was pretty funny. It's just like taking advantage of the paranoia, and then he tries to get on everyone's good side by throwing a bunch of money up in the air and trying to get everyone to turn on Batman. But then he starts releasing the poisonous toxic gas throughout the city, and people are starting to like laugh maniacally. And
but that's when we get to see some really special. The Batwing.
And again, like with I hate every time I have to talk about this movie. I always have to compare to what I don't like about the newer trilogy. But it took. So we get one movie. We get the Batmobile and the Batwing. It takes Nolan 3 movies to do like the Tumbler, and then he has the Batwing type thing. The Dark Knight Rises. What is that? Like, I mean, yes, it looks a little different, but again, it's not a superhero vehicle.
Again, yeah.
This is shaped like the dang bat.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's even that cool shot where it flies up in front of the moon. You're like,
I did that too. That was awesome.
And we had the bat signal, which was really cool, which I feel like wasn't really utilized much in the Dark Knight trilogy. I think they used it a little bit in Batman Begins. I think they broke it in Dark Knight.
Yeah, they did.
And then nothing in Dark Knight Rises.
I don't even think I saw it once in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
After watching it, but I don't think I did.
I mean, the bat symbol, hello, is iconic. You know,
they take that out. I mean, they literally, with each movie, they kept getting less and less and less, and they just cut it out.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They took out the gadgets, the bat symbol. Oh, you know, basically Batman. I mean, he's Batman for like 10 minutes and rides. Okay, whole nother conversation. We will get to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I have, for the most part, nothing but praise for this movie. I mean, the only thing I can say is the obvious, which is that it's older and not everything holds up. Some of the effects, the acting's still pretty good for the time. It fit the time. And what I want to say is what this movie did for the comic book world. Before Batman, we had the Superman movies. And if any of you have watched the Superman movies, call them classic or whatever you want. They're bad. They're really bad. And they don't hold up. And I have a hard time getting through them. They're really boring and corny. I can watch Batman over and over again and still be entertained. And if we didn't have this film, we would not have had Spider-Man and X-Men in the early 2000s leading to Iron Man and everything we know now. This was the first movie that took comic book movies serious. So
this opened the gate for the rest of them.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Tim Burton. I salute you, sir. I mean, we'll talk about what you did with the other movie next.
Yeah.
When I think this must have been a collaborative effort, and then
it had to have been.
And then when they did Batman Returns, it was just kind of like, yeah, Tim, do your thing. We trust you. And he's just like,
honestly, I think the first one, he was on a thin line. They're like, okay, here's our vision, right? And he was like, okay, I'm gonna throw a few of my little things in there, but I gotta stick to this, right? And then because of the first one, probably because of how good it did, and people were like, yeah, another more Batman. They're probably like, we trust you, do what you want, and we'll talk more about that, like you said, later. But he might have got a little carried away.
Right. So, are we ready for our overall review of the film?
First, we didn't talk about Michael Keaton though too much playing Batman, and I wanted to ask you.
Let's talk about his Bruce Wayne and Batman dichotomy because I think he brought a lot to the table before we get into.
So, let me say one thing first: is that
strange choice.
Very strange choice. I look at him and I don't see Bruce Wayne. I'm sorry, but I look at him and he's not like a Bruce Wayne to me. And I always pictured Batman. I don't know, just growing up and stuff. I always pictured him as just like some big, muscular badass guy because he's a fighting crime. He's got to look kind of tough, kind of rough, You look at Michael Keaton and
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, there you go. And you look at him and you don't see Bruce Wayne.
Well, they hired a comedian.
Yeah. However, though, once he stepped in that batsuit, once he got into it, man, he sold it. He really did, and I'll give him that. And I liked the way he delivered his lines. And I honestly, like I said,
He only talked when he needed to.
Exactly.
Like Batman.
And he didn't use stupid puns and stupid stuff. And what I also like too is, it's not his fault. He did what he could. The only thing that kind of was weird is the way he moved. He looked very stiff.
Oh, he was super stiff. That's why.
That's not his fault.
The fight scenes. I mean, I like how they made Batman seem so superior to everybody. But he could only move so much. Whether that was Michael Keaton or a stuntman, you know,
Sure, I didn't
regardless.
think about that. Yeah.
It was punch, kick, like, you know.
And if he ever turned to look to do, it was whole
whole body turn.
It wasn't like, hey, what are you doing over there? Yeah,
That's why
funny.
they made a joke when they did the Dark Knight and when they're doing the new Batman now. One of the first things they had for costume design for the actors is they need to be able to move their neck, because that was the ongoing joke for the older franchise, is just Captain Stiff Neck.
Yeah.
And then I think we were very satisfied with the Joker portrayal.
Of course,
And
yes.
its uniqueness. We got a new Alfred. I mean, he doesn't stand out like Michael Caine did. Michael Caine really brought it to his performance. But on the other hand, to me, watching this Alfred is very much what I pictured the comic book Alfred to be. He's just kind of old, braille, and a little sarcastic.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
he had a little bit of smarts to him.
And he was so he never showed like he was just kind of, his humor was very dry, very dry humor.
Yep, you got it.
And it was perfect. It fit him, and
Yeah.
it was great. I liked him.
I think he would always have like little jabs. I mean, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but he has a line in one of the other movies where Robin's head off to do something, and he's like, "Well, I'll cancel the pizza then." So.
yeah, dude. No, he's great. No, he definitely fit in that movie, and I'm
It
glad.
reminds me of the '90s cartoon. I don't know if you ever watched
No,
it, but
I
that's how Alfred was. It was
Okay.
just very, like you said, dry humor. Not forget the setting. Did that not feel like Gotham?
So yeah, I noticed. So I'm, we'll go over these later, but now that I've seen a few more of these Batmans, the earlier ones now, this, out of all the Batmans I've seen, looked like a Gotham. I looked at it and I was like, that's Gotham. If I picture Gotham, that's what it is. It was dark, it was gloomy, and
It's not just New York City with a Wayne Enterprises.
No,
building in
it's
it.
yeah,
It's,
it was Gotham.
it's its own city. And now, comes to these more realistic movies. I don't feel like they can do that again.
No.
Because it's a campy, but it felt like a cartoon come to life, and that's
Exactly.
what we wanted at the time. Now we want a little bit realism, maybe not.
I'm not putting down the Christian Nolan ones,
Sure.
the setting and stuff, because for its
They
time
fit- yeah,
they
they
wanted
fit for
more
the time.
realism.
Yep.
I liked what they did though.
They're
With this
trying to
one,
do
it was perfect setting. I loved every bit of that setting, man. Every time I got to see just the city, I was like, this is Gotham. This is Gotham.
And I think like that whole city has got to be CGI,
He's just right.
which
And
is
it looked
pretty.
good.
Yeah, it looked pretty impressive. I didn't think like, CGI.
No.
One thing that a lot of people like to frown on this movie for is Batman kills people. He straight up murders some fools.
Like that. I remember when he was in his car, right? And he did that explosive thing or
Yeah.
whatever. And it literally, you can't think those people just fell over and are stunned. They're freaking dead. They're freaking dead, man.
Yeah, he's in like I don't even remember where this fell in the movie, but he's in a building and he has the car and he just blows that building apart and flies out of it. I was like, how many people were in that building?
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I can see why some people would be upset.
But
about
oh god,
that,
everyone's got a crap on Man
Yeah.
of Steel because he snapped a neck. Sorry.
I don't know, man. Yeah, he doesn't. It's not like he goes around just killing everybody. I mean that.
They had it coming, so it's right.
that's not what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's kind of a mixed subject. Like
Again,
like,
it worked for the time.
exactly.
Because I never questioned it when I watched that movie, because that movie, while it was dark and serious for the time, it also at no point took itself too seriously. You knew it was a superhero movie the whole time. I feel like some of the newer films now don't know that they're a superhero movie.
And honestly, if you didn't point that out, like probably if I was watching that by myself and I just saw that happen, I saw the action sequence, I wouldn't have thought, oh, he killed those people. But now that you said something, I'm like, how could they have survived that? Yeah, I was like, how could they have survived that? Not happening.
Nope. But I mean, do you have any last notes before we come to a close?
I just gotta say that for seeing that
At what? Are you 20, 21?
21.
21.
Yeah.
Seeing Batman for the first time.
Yeah.
Dude, I guess that's my last comment is I grew up with that movie. From like 8, I mean that movie is 4 years older than I am. So from like a very early age, the movie was always on. And I was always watching it. And until I was about 13, 14, I think I was scared of the Joker.
It's creepy. Dude, I'm 21 now and he still freaks me out, man. There's no hiding behind that. I'm not embarrassed about it. He was scared. Very scary. And I just have to say, for being able to see that movie and thinking about it, because at first, a lot of the times people tell me to watch some older movies, and I watch them just like,
Yeah,
they're
that's
very
one
dated.
thing you said. You said, I can't watch older movies. I was like, but you gotta watch Batman.
and I'm glad I did. And I'm glad you told me to do it, and I'm glad I did, because it let me see, like I said, the start of the comic book movies.
Right.
And like it was
That's
just
what it was.
And it's just like, I kind of compare it just like the Beatles. They created, they started the music industry and got everything going, and people look at them and they're like, their music. That's everyone branched off of them. This Batman movie, all these other comic book movies branched off that.
Yeah, when they started doing the Batman movies is when there was Superman, there was only Superman, and then there was a gap, and those Batman movies came out, and because Batman was successful, then they started trying things like Blade, and then there was other things that happened in the 90s. Blade was not the only 90s superhero movie.
Okay.
But I mean, that led into the early 2000s.
When did the first X-Men come out? Didn't that come out?
2000. It was either 2000 or 2001.
Really, the first X-Men?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man, I think, was the following year.
Okay.
And then, despite how you might feel about it, you got things like Daredevil and Ghost Rider and Fantastic Four and things like that. It was starting to get the ball rolling. Were they all hits? Absolutely not. But were people trying and taking them fairly seriously? They were. And I don't think that we would have our Avengers and Dawn of Justice and everything else without 89, which is why I thought it was very important to start our run of reviews with this film. So, final thoughts and review.
Okay. Final thoughts, I say for that movie, the time it took place in, they did a great job. I mean, they made Gotham real. They made Gotham Gotham. It felt, that setting was perfect. Joker, amazing performance. I mean, Jack Nicholson nailed it. And now
it's like when you look at Jack Nicholson, you see the Joker now.
Exactly, yeah. And it creeps me out. And loved the Batmobile.
Wait
that
till
was...
they get a load of me.
Loved the Batmobile. Love the gadgets, man. I wish they would. I hope to see more gadgets in this new Batman movie that's coming out. I want him.
We already saw a grappling hook in the trailer.
That's true. So that's it's a start. Zoop! And I just hope to see more. I want him to be like that. I want him to be more of a detective.
Oh, you're saying you want the goddamn Batman.
Exactly. That's what I want. Give me Batman. I'll throw my money. Give me Batman.
Yep, exactly. I feel the same. I literally don't think I can add much to what you're saying there. I thought they made some interesting casting choices that were not popular at the time. Even Jack Nicholson was kind of like poo-pooed away when they first announced his casting. But as far as execution goes, this movie still holds up for me. And when I want to watch a Batman movie, until we get Dawn of Justice, this is my Batman movie. So with that being said, I'm going to give this a 1989 brilliant score.
I have to agree with you. I'm going to say brilliant as well. It was just for the time. It was great. And even to this day, like I said, it might be dated, but it's still a great film.
It's a great film, and so I think that's all we have to say for now. And then keep tuned for our next video on Batman Returns, which we might not have quite as many positive things to say, but still a decent film.
Yep. Tune in next week. Till next time.
Till next time. May the film be with you.
Take it easy.